This is F.D. Recovery, where we interview addicts and alcoholics.
Our aim is that through this podcast, we might help you on your journey of recovery.
Thank you for listening. Hello, this is Frank with F.D. Recovery, and today I have with me
Shelly.
So this is the weekly intention. So basically what we do is we pick a topic and go week to week, and we work it, topic, principle, whatever it might be, whatever comes up in our life, talk about it week to week and how we're using it in our recovery. So this week's topic is creativity. But before we take a stab at that, we are going to recap last week, which is, wow, you can tell I just got off work.
Overthinking.
Well, that's good. I wasn't overthinking it, so I wasn't thinking about it at all. So the recap on overthinking, you wanna share? Since you weren't here last week, I'll let you share first on overthinking.
You're so sweet.
Oh yeah, don't overthink it.
Overthinking is something that I've always done, sober or not sober, and just thinking about the situation. And then I think about all the different outcomes and what it looks like. This seems really loud.
Don't worry about it. Let's turn that down. I need it as loud as possible. Helps with the recording.
Does it?
And I won't edit that out either.
I know. I've learned not to ask anymore. So overthinking in this week. It helps. Let's see. Man, I'm overthinking this.
Oh yeah, you are.
When I was drinking and using, and one or the other, I didn't want to think about my problems, which is why I did what I did. And so now that I'm sober, overthinking is what I'm doing in place of not drinking or using, and thinking of all the different outcomes, what this action would look like and all this, that, and the other thing. So I've learned to navigate that a little more efficiently to where I don't need to trip so much on what's going to happen. The only thing I need to really worry about is what my decision is in that moment, and go through those motions, whatever that looks like, and just have trust and faith that what I'm doing is the right thing and not worry so much about all the ifs, ands, and buts.
I
No
always
buts.
think about the butts. So the overthinking factor, that's part of life, right? You're gonna deal with stress. You're gonna deal with spiritual setbacks. You're just constantly working on yourself, and when the important thing is you're going to make mistakes, right? That's the one thing that I try to remind myself, is because sometimes I get in this mindset of perfectionism, right? And that also is connected to overthinking big time, right? I try not to give myself too many options, right? Because what happens is I start getting fatigue, exhaustion, right? And so I just try to narrow it down and try to keep it very simple. And that's one thing I did with my choices this week, right? But the big challenge for me this week is, paranoia and dealing with the overthinking as far as that. And especially when I start working too much, and sickness hit our house, so that didn't help, right? So the never-ending factors of life coming on life's term is it's a hard one for overthinking, right? Because I think I can map out every scenario, and I think it's healthy to do that, right? And it can be kind of the counterproductive to the flow state, right? Or to the God state, or where you just feel real connected to life. And I think that overthinking, right, gets you to a place where more confusion kind of sets in, right? So when there's more thoughts, more static, more conversation in your head, more scenarios playing out, you're taking on a whole bunch of how would you say, narratives, Yeah, and noise, narrative, all these things that don't really um, add to your life, right? They just kind of shake up the etch and sketch, right? Until until you just want to blot out, right? That's the most important thing about this is trying to calm the thoughts down, but it's easier said than done when you're
In it.
triggered in it, getting to a point where the stress overtakes and it's just a little too much, and you have your breakdowns. How people break down in different ways. I break down in anger and lash out. Other people break down and just emotional cry. So it's a little bit different for everybody, right? But just staying aware and trying to make those changes and understanding that we're gonna make mistakes and we gotta allow ourselves to make mistakes because thankfully the mistakes nowadays for me are they're getting spaced out a little bit better, right? And that's a win for me, right? So
You're still sober.
yeah, I'm still sober over 7 years.
Woohoo.
Yeah, so let's shift gears and let's quit with the overthinking, right?
It's a good topic, though.
It is a good topic, and we got a lot of views this last on the overthinking, which was
That
cool.
was all you last week, too.
Yeah, I mean, but you were there in spirit, so
Sure am.
I thought you into the process. I overthought you or overthink you. No, that doesn't make any
No, no,
sense.
you're
No,
tubing it.
yeah, no, I'm going a little too far there. It's a reach there, buddy. So creativity, you want to set a definition out and we'll
Yeah,
chop it up.
so I Googled creativity and recovery because I know when some of these principles and words come up, if you just Google what the word is, you get a slew of information. And I have to remember that this is a recovery podcast and we're reaching out to a certain fan base. So
Tweakers, alcoholics, no good, dirty addicts.
So, creativity and recovery provides a powerful healing tool by facilitating emotional expression, promoting self discovery, and building resilience against relapse. Engaging in creative activities such as art, writing, music, and cooking allows individuals to process complex feelings, gain empowerment, and foster a more fulfilling life beyond substance use abuse, same thing. This approach enhances traditional therapeutic methods, offering a holistic path to personal development and lasting sobriety. Uh, when I didn't know what the topic was until I barged through the door, and you told me like moments before we're starting to record, and I never viewed myself as a very creative person. And then when I looked up that definition, I'm like, wait a minute, pause, because when I first got clean and sober, yeah, for me, it's like idle hands create for there's a saying that goes for idle hands, so I always have to stay busy.
Devil's
And
Playground or something like that.
yeah,
Idle Hands is Devil's Playground, or I think it was
something
something
like
like that.
that.
Could totally got it wrong, but
Yeah, I think that you understand. Hopefully, listeners understand. But never thought myself as a creative person. And then, well, you guys aren't here in our home, but if you look on one of our walls, there is a plethora of literally random acrylic artwork that looks like maybe an 11-year-old may have done it, but
at least 12. Come on, give yourself some credit.
but for me, creativity, it's like did so many different hobbies trying to figure out like what calmed my mind. And what I discovered about myself is that I like to learn a lot of different things, different hobbies, and I don't get near as invested as I did. I think when we first got together, I invested so much money in all these art supplies, like I was going to go do it for a living. And they've come in really handy for our pumpkin contest every year. That's about it.
Yeah, you have those spurts of different things you want to try, but I also think that's healthy, right? Creating different habits, learning new things. I think that once you find a niche, but you also go in phases. You'll pick it up, stop it, pick it up, stop it, right? And
That's true.
um, I think the important thing now is, at least for the creativity on my end, right, is it's not necessarily I push it a little further than art, right, or something artsy. I like to like I believe that everything is kind of like this manifestation field of like energetic playground in a sense, right? And I believe that without getting too in the weeds, right? But I believe that we have a blank canvas most of every day when we wake up, and it's up to us, built off emotions, attitude, to create that focal point on how you want to exist in the world and how you want to participate in the world. And I do believe that a good saying that I heard a while back, I can't remember where I heard it. I think I might have paraphrased it and mixed it all up and made it a different, but once you find the creator within, you will never be the victim without, right? I
Hmm.
realized that I was creating my reality. I was creating my victimhood. I was creating all these different concepts that I would create, all these agreements in my mind. Information would get brought to me. I would choose to create it into something that either it was or wasn't, right? And I really have to sit back and be careful with some of the creations that I create, right? And as far as creativity, there's so many different ways you can interpret it, right? There's so many ways you can act out creativity. You can grab a pen and paper and get real beautiful with drawings, real beautiful with words, and I believe that it goes much further than just an artsy feel, right? Creation of your life, like how you can create your attitude, right? You can create a better attitude or a worse attitude, right? And I can stub my toe and it just spiral, and then here we go, and I manifest even more. Then I cuss you out. Then I kick the dog. Whatever the hell. Well,
We
we
don't
don't.
have a dog.
Yeah, we don't have a dog. But if I did, I'd kick it. I mean, in the
Mm.
metaphor, of course, not actually. So nobody call the cops. Don't call. Wouldn't be CPS. What would it be?
Animal control.
Cat. Yeah, cat protective services. So CPS.
My God.
So we're here looking for the kitten. We got to check out the cat.
So what
But
I'm hearing, it's like for you, it's an emotional processing and it's emotional creativity.
I believe that it's a little bit further than that. I believe it is that and beyond that, right?
Mm.
I believe that it's a very energetic thing, and I believe that we're creating this reality with our thoughts, feelings, emotions, attitudes, all of that, right? I do believe it's not the problem that's the problem. It's our attitude towards the problem,
Mm.
right? It's not necessarily things that are going on around us. It's the things that are going on inside us that are kind of fabricating our reality. It's kind of morphing it to the situation, events that kind of happen. Don't get me wrong. There's things that happen that are totally out of our control. But like I said, the problem is not the problem.
How you deal
It's
with
the
it.
attitude towards it, right? And that taking that creativity to the next level and understanding that it's much more than just artsy stuff, right? That stuff's beautiful too. And if you have outlets, I urge you to kind of pick up habits, and not the habits we're used to, but so I mean, this whole creative process is much more than just creativity, and let's see what I can do with some finger paint, right? It's more along the lines of see how creative you can get with this life you can build, and use these tools and these spiritual principles in such a way to where you can create a really good life. You can and then going down to your creator, that's a concept to really dig into. How do you want your creator to best represent your interactions, and how what's the creation like for you, right? How are you creating with your higher power and vice versa? So there's just so many different ways you can kind of reach and out and
Mm-hmm.
vibe with this. So
Yeah, I mean, so as you know, all these different happy hobbies that I have that I pick up and I put down really work for me and expand my mind on a different level. Helps me slow my brain down too and think of, the one thing at hand and not a million other things. Think about what you're doing. This in itself is extremely creative. I mean, you've created this content and you're getting the message out there. One thing that I've always noticed about you and have admired is that you've always been the kind of recovering addict that wants to get the message out there. Not everybody's like that. I'm not like that. I'm very reserved and I like my isolation to a point. But the what you're doing here is so unbelievably creative and dedicated, and it helps others. But what I also see is that it helps you, helps keep you on track. And it's just amazing how many people you've been able to hypothetically touch
Ooh.
and and just like get the word out there that there's so much more to this recovery thing. And it takes a village, and there's so many different tools and resources. And I don't know, it helps you process so many different things. And I think that it helps us in a relationship as well, to get out our feelings in a healthy way. I have found, actually, I haven't shared this with you, but I've shared it with other people in my support group,
How
that
could you?
right, that we deal with so much. And when you're with somebody all the time, coworker, relationship, what have you, when you're spending all this time with people, there's a lot of things that can happen. And what I've noticed for us is that it is grounding and provides a way of communication without it getting muddled, where I listen to you and you listen to me. And I find myself, when I don't do this a week or two for whatever reason, last week my mouth was all swollen. I've got all these things coming up, but I don't feel centered. I've noticed at home with you, and I've noticed how much of a toll that actually can take on me. And even though it's really hard giving up my lunch hour because I like to eat,
Nah.
to sit and do this, it helps my process.
But it's also, you got to remember it's attacking two things: that you're doing something with me that we're bonding on, and
Mhm.
also you're doing something for your recovery. So when you start doing something and adding to your recovery in a sense, and also to your life and your loved ones in this situation, what happens is it's like missing your important meetings, right? You start building this a part of what you got going on. And so you can really suffer in the long run, right? And I wanted to interject with this is because I believe I'm a big proponent on manifestation. No matter what, we're creating something, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, I don't want to get too in the weeds because there's some schools of thought that ego is trying to manifest is just real ego ridden, right? I like to manifest in a spiritual aspect these days instead of like, ooh, I want the car, I want the this. And don't get me wrong, that stuff is great and they're tools to be used, like all the physical, superficial stuff. Don't get me wrong, you don't have to be dissing one thing just because you want to be so spiritual. So you got to sell all your things and give
The
them
laws of
away, right?
attraction.
Right. But I try to use the law of attraction and manifestation in more of a beneficial way as far as spirituality. And creativity is essential for manifestation. And this is what Google says in connection to manifestation with
Mm.
creativity. Creativity is essential for manifestation as both involve a process of using your imagination, intentions, and actions to bring an idea into reality, right? Creative process, the tools of visualization, ideation, and action, um, while manifestation focuses on the why and the what, using conscious intention to attract desired outcomes. Creativity helps manifest by enabling you to visualize your goals, overcome blocks through a creative mindset, and take inspired action, right?
Mm.
And the whole visualization, right? Visualization, something like that, right? We're getting close there, buddy, right? And matching that with, because someone without vision is dead, right? It says that in the Bible, and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing that, but the action behind just being able to see, in not necessarily 10 years from now, but starting small with the 2-year plan, the 3-year plan, the 4-year plan, and then so on and so forth, right? Sometimes I get so short-sighted with my ego and the here and now and the instant gratification that I don't really have the foresight to look in the future. Like, what am I intending? How do I want my tomorrow to be, while still understanding I need to stay
You
present in the
limit
moment,
yourself.
right? So the concept of being able to live in the here and now, but also push forward, things that like manifestation, which is why we call this the intention for the week,
Mhm.
because You got to remember your future is built off your intentions, what you're intending and what you're pushing, what your motives are, and what your motives are is going to be your intent, right? And if something as like the weekly intention, what I intend to do, what I intend to push forward in my week, right? So it's super important to know your motives, know what you're creating, know your intention, right? That's why it's super important, because what you're thinking, what you're creating, and how you're feeling, it is bringing a vision up forward. You may not be thinking, well, I'm going to be this way and I'm going to be that way, but all those mixture of actions is actually manifesting a reality slowly but surely. You don't have to picture, for me, I don't have to picture being an asshole. Right. But I'm not looking in my head and go, wow, I just really want to freak out. So tomorrow I think I'm going to stub my toe. I'm going to get pissed off by this. No, it's a collective. It's me not showing up for myself. It's me not sticking to my diet. It's me not going to the gym. It's a collective measures of things. And so when I'm doing those things and I'm not spiritually fit, and the small thing happens, I stub my toe, and then it becomes this big
Snowball.
yeah. So I wanted to add that in the mix there.
Yeah, I like that. I was reading a little bit on, the physical aspect of creating. Because for me it's physical. The painting, the cooking, the knitting, the what have you, the cleaning, the organizing, the puzzled house. All of those are for me, in hindsight, coping mechanisms on dealing with my emotions. If I am emotionally overwhelmed or stressed out and I literally can't do anything, I will physically do something, whether it be clean, but I have these other creative outlets. And I noticed that each of those different things help me process those emotions effectively, help me slow down my thinking, and kind of, I think, again, think about that now that I was talking about in the beginning, helps me process those emotions. It also keeps me away from the cravings and, the wanting to use and wanting to drink, because even though in all reality, I don't have a desire to drink or use, when I get frustrated or triggered, I mean, in the back of my mind, it's always going to be there. And I know if I were to pick up or use it, it would snowball in a bad way. So picking up a paintbrush, a pencil, cooking, yeah, even cleaning, those are ways that I can process and I can deal with those heavy, uncomfortable emotions without having to default to all of those negative behaviors and decisions that I have made in the past.
Well, the whole process of spirituality and just trying to live a better life and trying to stay sober through it all, and just trying to progress as a human, it's a very primal, how do you say, just very spiritual, primal, and just to the core kind of feeling, right? You end up getting to this place where you just feel so raw and you feel like you're doing everything wrong at times, and you just don't know which way's up, which way's down, and sometimes you can just feel a little lost, right? And I remember in any great revelation that I've ever stumbled upon in my life, there was always a lot of confusion right before it,
Mm.
right? And that's why I get so adamant when I'm dealing with people that are new. It's just like that confusion, something good can come out of it if you just don't leave before the miracle happens, right?
Hmm.
Because every time that I've ever gotten to this of enlightenment, moments of enlightenment where I'm like, those aha moments, there was a lot of confusion before that
That's a good
happened.
point.
So that's why it's important. I urge you, if you're out there and you're still struggling, is don't cut out before the miracle happens, because uh, a combination of things just might happen just the right way, where it just might click for you one day. And you don't have, the one thing is, people think that, well, I gotta be ready and I gotta not have any cravings to, no, that's not reality. Is when I first got in here, I didn't think I was ready. I wanted to be ready, but everything in my body was just like, yeah, I knew I
Against
couldn't.
it.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't do it the way I was doing it and have fun, but I didn't want to let go of the only crutch that I knew that could get me by. And stepping into that reality, and over time, seeing other people, and how they did it and what they taught me, and especially getting into this whole God mode, and trying to make sure a higher power is leading the way. And it gets down to, don't leave before it's too fucking, like,
Have
don't
an open
leave.
mind and just go with the flow. because there's no other way.
Well, there are.
Are there?
There are a lot of different ways. Um, but the funny thing is there might not be any other way, but my
Mm-hmm.
headstrong self will trudge another way and create a whole new path. And that's my pride and ego trying to do everything different, thinking I'm special, or someone trying to tell me, hey, it's not smart to do that, and then there I go again, right?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily whether there's, for me at least, it breaks down. It's not necessarily a wrong or right way. It's just go ahead, see if it works. Good luck, right? That's kind of where I get to with sponsees. It's like I'm not here to beg you to make the right choice. Like that, your choice is your own. That's the beautiful thing about free will. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
please don't. Oh my god! And I'm not gonna be like, you need it. No, you want to call me? Call me. Right? I'm not gonna chase you down. If you're gonna make some effort, then I will too.
Mm-hmm.
I try to stay away from, well, I'll meet you where you're at. If like the same people you see those posts where they're like trying to talk about honor and all this stuff. Oh, I'll show you respect if you show me respect, and I'll meet you there if you show it. No, it's like, no, I
Sounds like there's
will.
no humbling happening.
Yeah, it's like you effectively allow other people to navigate your own spiritual and emotional state, right? Because I'm telling you, I will only do this if you meet me there. So there's already conditions of my respect and my love and my trust and all these things, right? Don't get me wrong, people have to behave a certain way to activate the trust feelings and the love feelings. Of course, I get that. But having all these mindsets like, well, if it's like, if you do me dirty, then I'll never trust you again. I hate you. And just having all these grudge-like mentalities are,
It's not a good base.
it's a struggle. But we live in a society where every meme says it. All these memes with 1940 characterizations of like old school mob movies where they're just like showing the face there and of somebody in a top hat or whatever trying to be cool, and just making love and respect about this ego thing. And it's just really not. When it boils down to it, love and respect, it has to be
Mutual.
a mutual thing, right? It has to be a shared thing, and it can't be one-sided. And
Can't be forced.
yeah, consent, that's important.
Consent.
Right. And there's a lot of ways you could attach this, right? And my perception and my stance in life is always progressing, and I'll change, I'll let go some of the thoughts, right? And that's one thing we gotta get right here, right? The whole flexibility factor, and with the creativity is creating new pathways, creating new words, as far as like learning new words, using new words,
New behaviors.
learning, behaviors, new tricks, tips, whether it be working out, whether it be diets, whether it be mental health, right? Just trying new things and getting creative with it, right? And just don't close your mind, right? So, all right. What else you got to say about creativity?
I think this week I will work on knitting again.
Creating a sweater.
No, just a weird shaped
I want a
blanket.
sweater.
Oh,
It's
okay.
my sweater, and I want it now.
Oh, okay. I'll see what I can do and keep you guys posted next
Yeah,
week.
I want a hood. It needs to be a zip up, not pullover. It needs to have.
No, I like this topic. It's different.
Yeah, the creativity about, for me, the way I'm going to use it is being more creative, more intention behind my creations, meaning that if I want to create a good day, a good mindset,
You
a
can
good
do it.
workout, a good meal plan, get creative with this, right? Don't get limited by your biased beliefs, right? I think that's important. I think that's something that I'm trying to break through constantly, and every day I'm breaking a record because this is all uncharted water for me. Everything from like 2 years ago is all uncharted water for me, and I'm doing things so much different than what I used to. And when I have, oh yeah, when I have setbacks, they're a lot smaller and a lot easier to get over. But this is all, I'm breaking new records, right?
He has setbacks.
In the workout game is called PR, right? Personal record. And I'm PRing constantly right now.
My PR is at work. Progress report. How are your glasses doing? Perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So out there, if you're out there, get creative with your recovery, get creative with your mindsets, your spirituality, your life, man. Create the life you want, manifest the life you want, make sure it has a lot of love in it and a lot of connection and a lot of recovery, and no dope. Stay away from the dope and the alcohol.
And crack and,
and crack and all
meth
that,
and
all that PCP especially. I
Tide
heard,
Pods.
yeah, I heard it makes people crazy. I'm not sure though.
Right.
All right, this is FD Recovery. This week is creativity. So go out there and create a good world. Be the change you want to see in the world.
A change.
All right, create the change you want to see in the world. All right, guys, we're out. I love you. FD Recovery.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to FD Recovery. A reminder, be kind to yourself on this journey of recovery. Also, call your sponsor, get connected to local support groups, and for one day at a time, stay clean and sober.